Hi guys, my name is Lauren Lewis.
And I'm Rimana Kabati, and we're your co-hosts for Life Unfiltered podcast.
Help us welcome our senior for today, Taryn. How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
Good. We're so excited
to have you. Taryn, do you want to tell us a bit more about yourself, what you do, and why you're here today?
So I'm Taryn. I'm a senior at Troy Athens, which was just introduced. But I will be graduating soon, and I will be studying sports journalism at Arizona State University.
That's so exciting.
And I'm here today because going into that field, I'm going to be constantly booked, and I need a little bit of help, and that's why I came to you guys.
Stop! I'm so excited for you because I feel like sports and journalism. I haven't heard many people who have been involved in that. Can you tell us what made you interested in it and why you decided to go into that field?
I mean, like, I grew up being like a huge sports fan. Like, my dad was a Lions fan, and he was growing up, so then he made me a Lions fan, and I was growing up, and that was just my thing. It's always been my thing. Like, if you knew me as like a kindergartner, I just always had Lions stuff on. And so, like, as I grew older, I was like, okay, there's no other reason for me to go anywhere else than to do something in sports. And I was like, I have to do something. But I didn't know like where I wanted to get into. But I've always loved like seeing breaking news on my phone and watching like NFL sideline reporters, and I'm like, that's where I want to be. So that's why you have to major in journalism and then work your way up to doing those stories.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
I mean, I didn't hear much about that. Why do sports mean so much to you? Is it just because you grew up watching it? What do they mean to you today, and how have they affected your life?
Sports, the biggest thing is it connects you with people, and that's what makes it so important to me because I've been to so many different sporting events. Like, I can't even count how many I've been to. That's just how many I've been to. Like, but the best part about it for me is when, like, your team just does something and you're so excited and you're around everybody else. You've never talked to them a day in your life. You don't know who they are, but you're just high-fiving them. You're all so excited and you're sharing the same love and joy. It doesn't matter who you are or where you've come from, but like you're all there celebrating your team, and that's what's so special about it. And I honestly always get emotional like when I think about it, because I was just at a Pistons game last night and it's round 2 of the playoffs, and I don't know any of these people in the stands, but we're all cheering over the same thing, and it's so exciting. Like, I just get so pumped up, and I literally just love sports, and I think that the connection part of it, like, no matter where you go, you will always connect with somebody over sports, and that's just, like, that's why I love it to that extent. Obviously, like, it's just so cool, but to be able to connect with people that you've never met before, that's where I really get to love it.
Now, Taryn, could you mind telling me some of your favorite teams? Because as you shared that experience, I recently, too, have gone to a Pistons game. Now, me guys, I'm going to be very honest. I'm a dancer, okay? I'm not a basketball girl, okay? I'm not. But, guys, I went with my cousins. Guys, I had a ball. And yeah, Taryn, exactly what you said. Like, every time the Pistons scored, it was like I scored. I was in the stands feeling so excited. I was having such a ball. Yes, with everybody was clapping and we were all cheering and screaming. And yeah, we felt the sense of camaraderie was very, very fun. And and it made a really, really great energy. And yeah, like you can sense the vibe, So yeah, who are your favorite teams to cheer for?
So, because I grew up in like the Metro Detroit area, I've always been a Detroit sports fan, especially because that's who my dad raised me on. But then as I kind of grew older, like about, when is this? This is 2024, I ended up getting my citizenship in Canada. And so most of my family actually is from Canada. Like, I go over there all the time. And so when I would be growing up, they would be Blue Jays fans, so for baseball, and Maple Leafs fans for hockey. And so then they also kind of eventually influenced me to become fans of those teams. And so I ended up becoming a Toronto sports fan as well. And I always go to Toronto like every year and see baseball games, or like when the Maple Leafs are normally in the playoffs, I'll go over to my mom's friend's house and we'll go out to eat and just like watch it with a bunch of different fans, and it's really cool. But then like collegiate, I grew up Michigan and Indiana fans. I won't get into that, but people kind of always hate on the fact that I'm a fan of two teams in the same league, but it's because I grew up obviously in Michigan, but I have really strong ties to Canada.
Right. Very, very cool. Now, I understand that you mentioned your major being sports broadcasting. Now, I I don't know a lot about that, so I kind of want to know everything about it. But what does sports broadcasting entail? You're going to ASU and give me a look into some classes.
It's like it's never classes you would think would be classes,
Yes.
because they're so specific to those journalism majors, and so a lot of them are like media. Like I have a required class that's grammar for journalists. Like it's
wow.
so interesting. But the reason why I chose sports over regular journalism, which people chose me not to go that route, because it closes yourself off into only the realm of sport, but I also just wouldn't go into anything else, so I don't know why I would focus my time when I could be focusing on that sports aspect. But it's a lot of like, I'll be joining a lot of clubs, and I will be like probably covering a random tennis match on like a Tuesday afternoon. Like that's gonna be my life for the next 4 years, and I'm so excited. I've always grew up like a football fan, but I always told myself that I wanted to get involved in as many sports as possible. So that's kind of what I have my sights set on. When I get to college, I'll be just doing as many sports as I can, because I think it's so cool to know like all this information about different types of sports. And so that's how it's gonna have to be for me. But then like the classes itself, it's interesting, because as like a journalist, you have to be able to write, edit, record, produce, interview. It's lengthy. It's a big project, and they take hours. Editing everything takes so many hours, and I haven't gotten myself into that yet. I'll have to have like my turnaround time be like 2 hours, so I'm going to be working nonstop. It'll be a lot of late nights. I hope I don't fall asleep on the job, but it's going to be a big turnaround for me.
Yeah. Taryn, as a photographer, I can understand that completely with the turnaround. I was just talking to my friends last night about like how it's so hard, because you have like AP tests, and then you have a track meet, so you have like 400 pictures to download and edit, and then people want it that night, and people are texting you that morning being like, hey, can you send me the pictures? And I'm like, oh my god. And it's like, do you study or do you edit photos? And and then how do you make things faster? So I totally understand that.
Yeah, and honestly, like, I can see how much passion you have for this, Taryn. Now, I do want to get into the whole time management thing, because I know you guys both really, really talked a bit about that. But first, I want to ask you, when did you realize that your passion was beyond just a hobby and just things that you love on the side, and this is what you want to do for the rest of your life? Because these decisions are so big, you know what I mean? And as a senior, you're making all these big decisions. We've talked about this before on the podcast, and it can be so hard for so many of us to be like, yes, I want this because I love it, and like, we're not gonna lie, we care about money, how much it's paying you, how much it's called, all that situation. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yeah, I'm simply doing this for the love of the game. Journalists do not make a lot of money, which is unfortunate, because journalism is such an underrated field. Because when you think about all the news you get when you watch the nightly news or your local news, it's all journalism. That's how you're going to get your news. It's all journalism, and yet they're not getting paid enough. So I'm going to be probably like working in the middle of nowhere once I graduate, but that's fine. Like, I'm totally fine with that. I think I realized that I wanted to do this when, I knew that I always wanted to go to college. Like, I was so excited. But I knew that I wanted to pursue journalism when I just would, because I watch sports probably every single day, let's be for real. And I would just always see these sideline reporters, and they were all women, which is so cool. And then because I grew up around sports, my dad works for the Lions, he would often have me meet a bunch of these journalists, and it was so cool to see what they do. And like talking to the players, that's so cool to me. And then just becoming like overall, not like good friends with them, but it's like they trust you, you trust them. And I really like that aspect, because like we're all humans, and that's why I love journalism, because like I just think that it's so cool to just be like we're all humans. We're pretty much just having a conversation. This is what this is. This is what the podcast is. And I knew that I wanted to do that, and I knew that I wanted to be a trustworthy source for people listening to me, and for the players to trust themselves with me. I think that's really important, and I knew that I wanted to do that.
I love that. I really, really do love that. Now, what would you recommend just as a general kind of advice to people who are also deciding? Because like we talked about, this is so hard. Like when you decide this is what you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Do you want deciding on college or deciding on like journalism?
Deciding on a field that you want to go into, and this is what the job you want to do for the rest of your life is, because we're only 18, most of us are, and making that big decision for this is only like 1/3 of our general life, you know. So making that decision when you're so young and being afraid of what you're going to think about it later on in life, you know what I mean?
I'd say don't be afraid to change your mind, and that's coming from someone who has not changed their mind, but also as I've gotten older, my idea of only being closed off to football has completely expanded. Like, I will be paying attention to baseball and soccer and tennis all simultaneously because I'm just trying to know as much as I can. And so it's like, I'd say just be willing to be willing to learn it all. Like, obviously make your decision, but if it doesn't work out for you, then go to where your heart lies, because that's what's most important about it. Obviously obviously the money's important, but I'm doing this because of my heart and what I truly love, and I'm really excited for that.
This is reminding me of opportunity cost. Like, what are you willing to give up to do? Would you let? Yeah. Oh yeah. Like, are you willing to give up what you love for money? Or are you willing to give up money for what you love? And what is more important? You gotta really weigh it out. You know what I mean? And it, I feel like that's a really big topic. I feel like for me, I had to go through that when I was looking at fields I wanted to go into. I was just like, do I want to work with children? Do I want to work with adults? Do I really want to be a doctor? Am I able to go through this much schooling? Am I able to do this much? And Lauren, have you had an experience like that where you're just like, you have to really outweigh your pros and cons and really, really do the opportunity cost?
Oh yeah, I talk about this a lot, but preschool definitely, and teaching. You guys would not believe the reactions I get from grown adults telling me to not be a teacher, to choose something else, choose a different major, and dealing with all the negativity that's received, even from family. It doesn't matter. A lot of adults, of course, they're looking at it from the money standpoint, and they're saying, okay, well, you're only going to make X amount of money. But to me, it's like, what's the point of money if like you're going to a place you hate every day? What's the point? I don't think it has a point. And to me, I think the whole point of life is to experience. And I think, how beautiful is it if like your job is to experience something that you love to do every day? And yeah, like I literally cannot wait. Yeah, like you said, you're gonna have a job out in the middle of nowhere and you can't wait, and that's fine. Yeah, I can't wait to I might be making $5 a year. I'm going to be in a classroom with my babies all day, and like that's what I want to do, and I'm going to love it. So I definitely understand that. And yeah, giving up one thing, but of course for something you're passionate about, Taryn, you worded everything you said beautifully, and your passion really, really, really shines through.
100%. I can say that about both of you guys. When you guys talk about the fields you guys want to go into, you guys are always so passionate, and I think that's about every field. No matter how much money you make, if you don't love what you're doing, it's not gonna feel good. You're gonna hate going there every day. And like, as a person who, like, I've talked about my field before, I said I wanted to do medicine, and that's because of so many other aspects than money is not enough for me to wake up in the middle of the night because a patient is not doing well. You know what I mean? Going where I want. And the question I like to ask myself is, would I do this if I'm getting paid no money? Is this what I really want to do? And I think that's where you really, really know if you really love what you're doing or not. And I think that the answer is yes for all of us here.
That's so beautiful, Ramon. Now, Taryn, I did want to dig a bit into our time management, because I know that, we talked about, like, for example, a turn around. If you have some content to get out, how do you deal with that? And how will you, of course, as you get to college? I can't imagine your load with like all of these classes. How are you going to navigate all of the new courses, assignments, all that?
As the time has gone by, I've gotten better at using a planner to plan everything out. I like seeing things physically in front of me, which is why I like having like a genuine book. I will say, if I don't love something, like a certain class, I'm not willing to do it. And we're gonna see how this plays out. But I think that once I get to college, I will be more inclined to do my work because I'll be really excited to be there. But I'm kind of just trying to. It's hard because I will say I am a phone addict. That is the biggest part of the reason why I'm a procrastinator, why I have time management skills, and it's a problem. I can't even lie with that. I just have to figure out to not use my phone because then I will get things done. Like, it's like you have your 24 hours in a day, but literally I'm just spending so much time on my phone, and that's the biggest reason.
Taryn, we're in it together.
Yeah.
We're in it together.
No,
that was so honest.
I
Thank
literally
you.
love that you shared that because as much as we like to hide it, like there's a lot of us struggling with that, whether it's a little bit or a lot. And honestly, first off, you say it as if you're so addicted to your phone. Guys, Taryn is so capable. She's done so many amazing things. Like, if it's about time management, guys, do you wanna tell us about your award for your awards? Yeah,
go ahead,
shout
shout yourself out, Taryn.
Oh gosh, I do not like doing this. I'm not much of a
I got you
bragger.
then.
I mean, so back in, I believe this might have been November around, I recorded a podcast about triathlons runner Nate Linden, and about how he manages cross country and track and like what that's like for him and why he chose that, why he keeps doing it. And so that ended up winning Best Sports Feature at the Michigan Association of Broadcast Awards for the high school audio division, and first place at the first division of podcast at the MIPA Awards, so the Michigan Interscholastic Press Association. And then back in February, I finished a maybe like a 5-minute video about the Athens girls powerlifting team and how they were not more, I mean, they win a lot. Love them for that. But how they push through the season physically and mentally. And that won first in sports story at the NATAS Award, which is the National Association of Television Arts and Sciences, also known as an Emmy. So, yeah. But that was really exciting. I'm so glad I was able to share those stories because, I mean, the athletes at Athens are amazing. And I'm so proud of them all. Like, they're all great. And
it's so amazing that you're sharing that with people. You're sharing their hard work. You're sharing how amazing you are. You may be winning those awards, but you're also winning those for them. And I think
congratulations, Taryn.
Thanks, you guys.
That's amazing, Taryn. Like, seriously, I love the passion you have for this, how much you're willing to put effort into it. You guys should definitely watch the video. It's on the Troy District YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys should definitely go watch the video. It's so good.
Yeah, and I definitely shout out to all of the Troy school athletes, and specifically our Troy Athens athletes and the track team. This year I started taking pictures for the team, and guys, yeah, like there's some insane moments where I'll be like ground level on the track with like these guys' shoes, and like I'm seeing everyone zoom past. It's crazy how hard these kids work. So it's really, really cool to see.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, Taryn, you did start all these amazing videos and broadcasting and showing off the sports at Athens in high school. What advice would you give to people who want to be involved in these things? Because, sometimes not every school has these types of opportunities, and you already got to see a glimpse of what you're going to be studying in college, which is amazing for you. Congratulations. Tell us more about that, please.
Before I found out about the guild, I joined just my junior year, so I was still trying to figure out things to do because I didn't know what to do. So during my sophomore year, I started my own sports podcast and my own sports blog where I would that did not go far. My podcast, I have 50 episodes. And I would just say, literally just start doing whatever you're passionate about. I've also had a TikTok account that I've just been posting about sports since 8th grade that has it's been slow here and there, but I have almost 5,000 followers on that. But I've met so many great people. So literally just start doing what you want to do. Make the experiences for yourself. I tell that to every single person who has asked me for advice, because even if you're not like racking up like listens, or people are not reading like your blogs a lot, you're still getting that experience, and that's what's overall very valuable.
I love that you share that. It's so amazing. And seriously, 100%, like, just get out there. Just go do whatever you want. Just get a foot in the door. And once you get the foot in the door, you will see so much other things come towards you. And that's amazing.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing, Taryn.
Yes. So social media, especially with broadcasting, is huge. You know what I mean? And it has its positive and negative impacts. How much? Because I don't know anything about broadcasting, sports, share with us, how has social media affected broadcasting over the years? Has it only started when social media started? And how does it affect you in your personal life? Because you're making all these social media, the numbers kind of matter, you know what I mean?
It's hard because a lot of teenagers now will get their news from social media, and it kind of puts journalists on TV, or ones who write, at risk, because other people are promoting it widespread on social media, and then hundreds of thousands of millions of people can see it. So that's the problem. But the biggest problem with social media in journalism is just fake news, because that happens all the time. There will be people that post fake news as a joke, and then people believe it because they don't know it's a joke. And then I think Twitter's the worst, because then you'll get people who are supposed to be like sports insiders who know everything, and then they just spread lies, and then people end up believing that and reporting it to other people, which will then spread more lies, and it's really harmful. I won't say that I've been like an influencer, but I will say that my videos have been seen by a lot of people. And this just goes for like any person on social media. I get a lot of hate comments a lot of the time. Literally, the only thing I do, I delete the comments. I do not remember a single hate comment that has ever been said to me, because it doesn't matter. Like, what is it going to do for me? It's not going to ruin my day, but why does other people need to see that as well?
Exactly.
I just delete it, move on, or like if one of my friends gets to it before, they honestly just, they say something and the situation goes away.
They handle it.
I try to be nice, because I will say I get annoyed very easily, but I try to stay calm and collected when it comes to hate comments like that, especially with me being like a woman in sports.
Yeah.
And then people will be like, "Oh, you don't know anything."
100%.
And that's what makes my job difficult. And it's difficult because not everyone's going to believe what you say or trust the fact that you are a good journalist. And that's just what's going to have to come with my job, especially if I want to make it on national news. I'm going to get that all the time. But it's going to be hard, and that's probably going to be my biggest challenge that I'm going to have to push through, especially if I'm going to switch my content on TikTok to being more focused on me working in sports instead of me posting about sports.
100%.
I love that. And this reminds me of what's it called, when someone hurts you or someone's upset at you, your mindset is so important, because you can't think of, oh, they hate me, oh, they want me, like, you know, they don't want me doing anything. Like, it's not about you, it's about them, and they're just projecting, you know what I mean? So I think that says a lot about people and who they are. And I love that you shared that these hate comments really, really don't matter.
Yeah.
Because look, you're here, you're successful, you're doing what you love, and I love that.
But like, it's hard because some people can't just shake it off like I can.
100%.
Like, and that's like, no, I guess I never really cared about the hate comments because my mindset has just always been to delete them. But like, some people are way ruder to other people than they are to me, and that's difficult to deal with. Honestly, I just don't care about it, because it's like I've never talked to you a day in my life.
Yeah.
But like, for some people, like, that's hurtful to them. I mean, it's still hurtful, but some people like want people to really like them, and that's fine. I always want people to like me, but it's hard to change opinions about people, and so if people are getting hated on, that's like a personal thing to them. And that's just like what's hard about those hate comments.
What advice would you give about mental health in this situation? Because you did talk about sexism and how this is a huge thing in the field you're trying to go into. How are you going to deal with that? Because, you know, sometimes the constant pressure will push you to an extent, you know what I mean? And to anyone who's dealing with that, whether, you know, it's a woman or a little girl who's interested in this, what would you say?
I think that it also goes back to when you're watching a sporting event and people on the internet are hating on the athletes. Like, the athletes are here because they are good at their job. No matter how much you hate on them or how much you don't like them, they are good at their job. That's why they're here. That's why I will be in that area, because I've persisted, I've persevered. I'm in the field because I'm good at my job, because people know my work for being well credited, trustworthy. But like, not everyone thinks that way, and that's what's going to be hard, because it's really just like your mind versus yourself, and you just really have to come into the field with having a determined mind, and no one else is going to get in that way. People will give you tips and tricks and advice along the way, and that's completely fine because they want to help you grow. But if you're going to let the hate get in, then that's what's going to make your job more difficult.
100%. And I feel like that goes into every field, because you honestly don't know this, but you just gave me some advice. Like, it does not matter what anyone else thinks. It's just about you. And like Lauren said, like, she's gotten a lot of, you know, negativity for the field that she wants to go into, which is, you know, not okay.
I have too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Taryn,
it's like,
yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, but yeah, Taryn, everything that you've shared with us today, it holds so much depth. You came on here and you were very honest. You were very truthful. You talked about things honestly aren't very easy to talk about. You know, just to sit down on a microphone and share. You were really raw and honest. Taryn, we really enjoyed your conversation.
Thank
today.
you so much, Taryn.
We enjoyed having
Yes.
you on as a guest.
Yes, support Taryn, you guys. She has some of her videos on the Troy District Troy District podcast. Channel. And she has her own social media. Do you want to shout it out?
Yeah, shout out your Instagram.
My Instagram's just Taryn Fritching. It's my last name's so long, so I apologize.
It's okay.
I won't shout out my TikTok username because that's gonna be changing soon.
Okay. Thank you so much Thank you so much, Taryn, for coming on the podcast, and thank you guys so much for watching us. You know where to find us at life.unfilteredpod on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok.
And if you guys would like to be a guest or have something in mind to share, we have a form in our bio, or you can send us a quick DM on Instagram.
We are your co-hosts. I'm Rimana Al-Khabati.
And I'm Lauren Lewis.
And always remember to embrace the mess
and live life unfiltered. Bye, guys.